Okay, so I'm going to just show you how artists use value, and I'm just going to draw a circle. Well, it's a little bit bigger than I wanted. So a circle like this. I'm going to have my light coming from this direction. So the shadow of the circle is going to kind of come out this way. Okay, so something kind of like that. So where the shadow is hitting the circle, I'm not going to add a lot of value there. I'm going to add value to the outside of the circle. Whoops. Okay, so I'm going to make that kind of dark, but leave the edge light. And I can make the back part of the circle really kind of dark so that you can see the contrast between the behind the circle and in front. I'm doing some cross hatching now. When you go against the line in kind of a perpendicular or angular way, that's called cross hatching. Right. And so the more you do it and the harder you press, the darker those lines will get. Okay, and then I'm going to put that there's like a tabletop here. So I'm going to stop my darkness at the tabletop, right? And so this will all be pretty dark. And I'm pressing harder now. And I can come back and finish that in a minute. So the light is coming this direction. It's going to bounce off of this tabletop. So I'm not going to put any marks there right now. I'm going to start on the circle and, you know, start building up some values here. Allowing the, I'm doing it very lightly as opposed to how I was doing the other shadows. Very lightly, going back and forth. Even kind of, see how I'm kind of curving the lines? I'm trying to show a little bit of the volume of the circle. Now, you want to be careful because I don't want to get too many values, if any, really, in this hot spot right here. I can blend some of that out if I feel like I'm getting too dark. But I do want to show the underside of the circle, the ball, right? It's supposed to show some dimension here. So I'm going to get a little bit darker over this part. And let it come up a little bit here, under here, because it gets, again, the light is kind of bouncing off the front top of this ball. So I just want to make sure that it feels that way. And remember, this is that graphite pencil that blends really well. And if you feel like you've gone too dark, you can always use the eraser to come back and pick some up, or even erase it and start again. You don't have to do this as large as I'm doing it, but you know, this is a good thing to practice on the regular. You know, you can even change the direction of the light. And let's see, I think I got a little dark there. I'm going to come up and change that a little bit. And just keep working. I'm going to try to get a little bit more dark over here. Now I'm going in the cross direction. That cross hatch is a lot of fun to play with, and you can get dark really quickly with that. So it's how hard you're pressing your pencil, and you know what kind of directions you're going in to build up the density And if you want to get lighter values, it's just really super light. Right, so just really super light. And I'm going to get one of my blenders. Yeah, maybe my finger. Do it a little bit, and then I can pull back some of this. Lighten it up with the eraser. Okay. Clean up my circle too a little bit. And I don't even care that it's not a perfect circle. This is just a value exercise. Now, so we've got that circle. The darkness would kind of continue onto this side, and then it would start to dissipate. As this light's hitting this, it's going to kind of lighten up, you know, a little bit of this back wall, so I can go a little bit lighter over here. Try to even it out a little bit there. I do want there to be a distinction between the ball and the darkest part of the ball and the wall behind it. So I'm just going to darken this really good. I feel like I could go much darker on this than I have gone. Okay, and then this is the shadow ring, right? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a little bit of white just there, just to bounce off the, and then I'm going to kind of put this in a kind of a circular kind of oval shadow shape like that. And then again, this should be super dark. Okay, I'm leaving a gap though. And that gap is going to just show the light bouncing off of other parts of the table. See that? And then this can go up into the, need to straighten it out a little bit. Right, and so just by leaving it just a little bit light, just a smidgen, kind of adds some volume, if you will, to the shape. I messed that up. That needs to be straightened. I haven't done this in a while. And then the back will kind of, I might put this corner a little bit darker, but really the back can be kind of be all the same. With the light hitting off the table. Okay, and so again, I'm going to make this part not as dark as the other side, but you know, a little bit darker. And then this, I can continue to make this. My dogs just got back from a walk. And there we go, kind of something like that, right? And then I can blend this a little bit, make that mark a little dark. Right, and then I could keep, you know, keep kind of doing this over and over to perfect it. But this is kind of the idea. So in here we have a highlight right here, because the direction of the line, if you can still see that line, it's hitting this spot. It's also kind of hitting this area here. So I could almost kind of lighten that desktop too, that area, and maybe a little bit here. And an eraser is a great way to kind of pull out your highlights. Don't ever feel like you're cheating or anything because you're doing that. All right, so again, I think I would go make this corner kind of a more gradual transition from the dark into the light into this, and add a little bit more texture. Okay. So doing this kind of over and over, and then maybe trying to do another one from the light coming from above, the shadow would be smaller and kind of more underneath. If you light came from this direction, you'd flip this. And there's a lot of great examples online that you can base off of. And there's a lot of different ways to do shading too. And we're going to learn this when you're doing your thumbnails, which is coming up. You can base off of. And there's a lot of different ways